Hiya, how you all doing? You good? Me? I'm good, thank you for asking. Now the other day I was talking to a friend of mine and we were talking about a film where someone was held at gunpoint and he was saying, you know what, if that was me, I would fight, I would kick, I would do this. And I said, you know what, we really don't know how we would act in these kind of situations. And he said, I do know. I would fight him and I would do this and I would do that. And I said, you know what? We don't know what we would do. When things happen, when you're under pressure, we can only hope and pray that we don't do anything stupid. And in my case, that would have been the best prayer to have. And I can say that because I was held at gunpoint. Before I got married, my husband and I, while he was my boyfriend at the time, we got held up at gunpoint. Now, I never told anyone about this. Maybe my older sister, I'm not sure. She's no longer with us, so I can't really ask her, but I'm not sure. I don't think I ever told my little sister, so this is going to be a shock for her. And she'll probably say, what? You never told me this? Why didn't you tell me this? But I didn't because I knew that my family, they're kind of extra. And my mum and dad, my sisters, every mafia film that they've ever seen in their entire life, it would all come flooding back to them. And they would say to me, leave the country, come back home. Why are you staying there in Italy? Come back home. Now, it doesn't matter if in the UK things are worse. It doesn't matter. In their mind, I'm in some kind of mafia hit and I would need to come home. So I didn't say anything. I kept it to myself. But yes, and you know what? You are not going to believe what the gunman did. You're not. You are not going to believe it. It's crazy. But before I get ahead of myself, let me just start from the beginning and let me tell you what happened. And the beginning is that a lot of my friends are musicians, which isn't really a surprise, seeing as I'm a musician too, right? And oftentimes my musicians will have gigs and they play live and they will invite me to their shows. Now, as an aside, I hate it when my friends invite me to their shows because oftentimes when they see me in the audience, they will say, Angie, come up on stage and sing a song. Now, it's something that I really hate doing. I am not spontaneous like that. It's something that costs me a lot. It takes me out of my comfort zone. And it's really bad because it makes me look as if I'm full of myself, as if I don't want to be seen playing with these people. And that's not what it is. I don't know if it's shyness. I don't know. I'm not really a shy person, but that, it's something that I really just hate doing. Anyway, this friend, he was a drummer and he invited me to come and see his show. And so I asked my boyfriend at the time, who later became my husband, I asked him if he wanted to come with me. And he said, of course, I'd love to. So we were on the way to the venue to hear my friend play when he realized that he needed gas, that we didn't have enough petrol in the car. So he said, let me just stop off at the gas station to get some petrol. And I said, fine. Now, usually I would just stay in the car, but we were at that phase, you know, that sickening phase when you don't really want to be apart. And he said, come with me while I pump the gas. So I said, okay. So I was out looking around while he was there acting all manly, you know, and doing the manly thing and putting the gas in the car and all that good stuff. So while I was there, I saw this car pull up, and out of the car came 3 men, and they had on balaclavas, their faces were covered, and they walked up to us. And as I saw them approaching, I kind of knew what was about to happen. And I looked and I saw that one of them, the first one, had a gun in his hand. And I just froze. And I tried to get the attention of my boyfriend. And when he looked around, because he didn't know what was happening at first, and when it dawned on him what happened, I have to say this. He didn't even realize what he was doing. It was sheer instinct. And he did something that made me think, yep, I could marry this man. I could definitely marry this man. Because he put himself between me and the gunman. He used his body as a shield to protect me. I saw that and I thought, okay, this could be the man for me. Well, anyway, the gunman came up and he said something that I've heard a million times in the movies. And when he said it, I almost laughed. Because I said to myself, my goodness, you mean you couldn't even think up something original? What kind of a sloppy robber are you? And what he said was, if you do as you're told, no one will get hurt. Now, one of the things that I remember really clearly what happened, and it's like the strangest thing, and that is, I speak Italian and of course English. And when I think in either one or the other. I never think in Jamaican, which my parents are from Jamaica. And I never think in Jamaican. But in this instance, I did. And I don't know why. It was just like a monologue in my head. Because when he lined us up, and there's about 8 or 9 of us that was there pumping gas. And when he lined us up, the first thing that came to my mind was, if you think you're bad, come take me money. If you think you're dopey conqueror, come take, you know. Come take, you know. And that's what was going on in my mind. It's crazy. So we were all lined up. And I've got to tell you the truth, I was mad. I was so angry. I was thinking to myself, do you know how hard I have to work to make my money? Do you know the things I have to do to make my money? And these people just waltz on in and they think that they can just take what they want. Ooh, I was angry. But let me tell you something, as an aside, people, if this should ever happen to you, don't be silly like I was. It's not worth losing your life over things, over money, things that you can earn again. You can buy things again, right? But there's only one of you. So, you know, we have to use our brains, which I wasn't at the time. I don't know what came over me. Oh, I was mad. I was so angry. So we were all lined up and 2 of the robbers were on the street looking out. And the one that was taking our money, he was there with the gun and he had like a bag and he opened it up and he told us all to go into our wallets and our purses, because there were a few ladies there too, and to put the money in the bag. Let me tell you something. Again, all I kept thinking was, so you think you're a bad man because you're a gun? You don't know nothing about bad man. You go on. And that's what I was thinking. So I was around 4th or 5th in the line, I can't remember. And he went up the line with the bag, holding up the bag, and people were putting the money in. When he came to me, I looked at this man good. No word of a lie. I am not lying. This is the honest to God truth. I looked at this man good. And I was thinking, if you're really bad, take me money. If you really is God man, Vitro, take me money. And I was looking at him. And he looked at me. And he looked me up and he looked me down. And my eyes were just fixed on him. Do you know this man? He lowered his eyes and moved on to the next person. He did not ask for 1 red cent. He didn't say a word to me. He just moved on. And everybody else, including my boyfriend at the time, put money in the bag. Like, everybody was looking at me kind of bad-eyed. They were thinking, how come she didn't get robbed? How come they didn't take her money? It's not my fault. I didn't do anything. I just looked at him and he moved on. So he took everybody's money and they left. Now, of course, somebody called the police and we all had to hang around until the police came. And when the police came, they separated us all and they questioned us. And the policeman was questioning me. And he asked me, were they tall? Were they short? Did they have blonde hair? Did they have dark hair? Did they have an accent? Did they walk funny? Did they have scars? They were asking me all these questions. And all I said to the policeman was, I'm sorry, I didn't see anything. The only thing that I saw was the gun. That's the only thing I saw. Because you have to remember, I come from a country where the policemen, they just carry, they call them batons. But that's just a glorified stick. That's what they carry in my country. They don't have guns. So for me to see a gun, I've never seen a gun before. The only time that I've ever seen a gun is in the movies. So I was just transfixed at the gun. And that's the only thing I saw. So the policeman, he had on his gun and he kind of like unclipped it. And he was a distance away standing from us. And he kind of like unclipped it. And he said to me, did the gun look like this one? Or was it longer? Was it shorter? The handle? Do you know, as soon as the man showed me the gun, I started to cry. I started to cry, and it was an ugly cry. It was, oh my God. I was crying, and all I could hear in my head was my parents, my sisters, and all my Jamaican ancestors. All I could hear them say was, is no yaban. Because all the time I was cool, I was calm, I was collected. But at that moment, it dawned on me that I could have been shot. That this man actually had a weapon, and I don't know, it could have been a toy. I don't know, but potentially I could have been shot. So I started to cry, and the policeman said, ma'am, you're okay, you're safe now. And I said, yeah, I know, but they could have shot me. And he said, but why would they shoot you? They didn't even take your money. And I said, yeah, that's true, that's a point. But I just kept on crying. And I've often asked myself, why didn't he take my money? Why didn't he? It's crazy, isn't it? I have a couple of theories. And let me know if you agree with me or not. Or maybe you have a theory why he didn't take my money. And the first reason is because he knew. He saw the demon rising up in me, because I tell you, I was angry. He saw Satan. And he probably thought that his gun could not shoot fast enough or far enough to outshoot this demon. He could see it in me. I am convinced that he saw the pits of hell in my eyes. And he said, I ain't doing it. And he said, I ain't doing it. I ain't going up against that. Hell no. I ain't going up against that demon. I ain't doing it. I am convinced he thought that. Or, and this is probably the more likely one, and that is, he thought, she's black. She probably doesn't have any money anyway. I'm sorry, I don't know. I could never prove it. I will never know. I will never have the reason, but I think that's what the man thought. I think he thought she's black. She ain't got no money. And no one can tell me different. I am convinced that's what the man thought. And the thing is, I had money in my purse. I did. I had money in my purse because I was about to go out. I was going to set the night ablaze. I was going to be drinking and I was going to be having fun. So yeah, this is what happened to me, being held at gunpoint. Now let me tell you something. If it was now, I would have taken out my purse. I would have emptied my pockets. I would have taken out the earrings out of my ears. I would have given them my bank account. I would have taken them to my house and given them my flat screen TV. I would have given them even what they didn't ask for. I would have given to them. Because I ain't going to be shot over nothing. I ain't going to be shot over things. Things that can be replaced. And if I can't replace them, then I don't need them. So you know what? No way. No way. But that just goes to show, friends, that we don't know how we're going to act. We don't know what we're going to do. So hopefully this is something that never happens to you. And if it should, I hope you behave a little bit better than me. If you like this story, please give it a thumbs up. And if you think you know why the gunman didn't ask me for my money, leave a comment down below and let me know if you agree with the reasons why I believe he didn't ask me for my money. Take care of yourself, okay? Until the next time I stop by. Ciao.